So this year, 2018, we're publishing the 8th edition of Innovation in Magazine Media. And it's been a long, long ride, and really very interesting how this year we're getting through to a very clear business model to talk about. And it's really a key innovation that everybody needs to be focusing on, which is how you migrate from ad revenue to reader revenue. This is the biggest theme, to get back to people paying for our journalism, whether it be political journalism, lifestyle journalism, fashion, health journalism. Unless you restore a balance where you have a significant amount of readers paying for that content digitally, we're not going to find redemption from our original sin, which was to give it all out for free. There is no digital instant salvation. Technology, virtual reality, gadgets, widgets, events, e-commerce is really not going to be the salvation of publishing. We need to get back to reader revenue. And we believe that a good benchmark is to aim for 40% of reader revenue. Reader revenue does mean primarily subscriptions, but these subscriptions shouldn't be seen just as the same old subscriptions in the past. You could have a dynamic paywall where people pay when there's a lot of demand. You could have metered, obviously, hard paywalls, and also we have micropayments. And there are many different ways to get reader revenue, but we must be selling our content. If they're not buying our content, they're not going to buy our licensed products. They're not going to come to our events on an ongoing basis. They're really not going to engage with us commercially on e-commerce platforms. We must restore that connection with the reader where he expects to pay for what he reads, because that creates a whole bunch of things at a different level than what we've had in the past. It creates brand loyalty, it creates brand affiliation, of course, a derivative of loyalty, but affiliation in the sense that you're willing and open to buy more things from that. So it's not just reader revenue to read, it's reader revenue to buy things from the brand you're reading. The reason why this is imperative is because any publishing business based on display ad revenue is very vulnerable, and it's broke. That business model is broke and is sent us out of kilter. Why? Because it's become a duopoly. Facebook and Google have really cornered that market. They have 78% average in every market of display ad revenue goes to them. So for us to build a business based on that old promise of traffic, and that will allow me to sell CPMs against that traffic, it's gone. We cannot expect to build a business based on that. It is as foolish as a one-legged stool. You're going to fall off sooner or later. And in those markets where display advertising is growing, it's a swan song. And it's growing only for Facebook and for Google. Of course, there's a big market out there, there's a lot of money, but it's not going to us, to publishers. At the same time, we really have to move on from this Facebook, Google duopoly narrative. We've been playing defense for far too long. And remember, before this duopoly, there was another duopoly, that is AOL and Yahoo. And, but we have to play offense, and we really have to get rid of the addiction to Facebook particularly, and really treat our website as a destination, get away from distributed content. Facebook is an unreliable partner. They've changed the algorithm. They can change the terms at any moment. And they're really becoming a white label publisher for Facebook really is not the future for a publisher that wants to be innovative. You must restore the habit of people visiting your website, your app, whatever is your digital experience on a daily basis if possible. And not just expect that through Facebook we will create a huge audience and somehow we'll end up at our sites. What really matters at the moment is that a publisher is experimenting with reader revenue. And what ends up happening is that the answer is not one model. A lot of them begin with a meter model, and then some of them go to a freemium model. Some of them go to a hard paywall. Some of them now go to the dynamic paywall model that exists today with a simple algorithm. You can put up a paywall when there's a lot of demand, a lot of people want to read the content. So it's not about finding the perfect model, it's about experimenting with reader revenue. And it's inexcusable for a publisher today to not be experimenting with it, to not trying to demand that people give you their data or their dollars. If you're not extracting this from your readers today, their data or their dollars, you really shouldn't be in publishing, let alone journalism.